Good morning, Texas fans. That was a fun Saturday. That was exactly what we wanted. Eric's notes last week on our Friday show, that panned out pretty well. It's always nice when the coaches are confident and then you immediately see, yep, they were right to be confident. That was a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
of fun. That was some good stuff. Real quick, some housekeeping. Welcome to Inside Texas Football, powered by InsideTexas.com. Go check out the site. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel and join Inside Texas today for the best scoop on Texas Longhorns football. And of course, y'all, we always have our game plan, our plan of attack. But in the comments, you guys can take us off course immediately. We're here to talk with you guys first. But if the chat's slow today, this is what we're going to hit. So, number one, we are going to talk about our insights upon rewatching the Michigan game. Texas does climb to number 2 in the AP poll, jumping over Ohio State. Ewers now leads Heisman odds. And of course, we had Myron Charles on Saturday, flip from Florida State. We had Javian Hilson, the edge, also decommit. He's going to take it to December most likely, but that's an interesting player to keep an eye on. So, first things first, Eric, you were at the game. How was it?
I had fun. Believe it or not, I had fun. It was a good, and then we got in the car and Myron Charles flips, and it's like everything's coming up Texas. That was there's not a whole lot of days like that. No, I'm not an oracle. We just have good sources over there. Yeah, and Connor had it right, man. They were right to be confident. A lot of things we talked about in the offseason have come true. When we write it, we report it. We're like, okay, well, hopefully it turns out this way. But the best case scenario is basically coming true right now. Red zone offense. I was not worried about that coming into the season. I thought last year was sort of an oddity. I didn't think that was going to be a real thing to worry about with Sark. And yes, so it's just the fans. I got to tell you this, man. The Michigan fans were really, really good, very friendly. It was a great trip.
That's a similar vibe too, right? Smart, powerful school in their state. I mean, those are kind of similar. These are similar programs.
Michigan, UW, Washington, I think is similar to Texas. There's definitely a kinship between the fans. Everybody was really friendly, and we were friendly back to them. Got to be good sports. It was a great trip. Now they're all, we're talking about going to Ohio State next year, and they're on our side on that one for sure.
Yeah, I always hear bad rumors about Ohio State fans. I've really never met a hardcore one down here, so it's going to be interesting to see how they welcome you. I know Ohio State was definitely buddies with us. There was a lot of good memes from the Ohio State side making fun of Michigan for us beating them. Coach, what'd you think, man? You got to see it from your on-field kind of point of view.
Man, look, I loved every minute of it. Just from the beginning, I thought Coach Sark was just ahead of Wing Martindale, man, from the very, very snap of the game. And, I know the camera panned to Wink, during the game. He was over there just frustrated, kind of threw his hands up like he had no clue what to do, what to call next. And so I thought Sark was just in his head. And then, of course, I love seeing the Michigan defense with their hands on their hips, breathing heavy, man. You can see the sweat through the TV. Yeah. They had enough, and it was first quarter. And, kind of frustration kind of boiled over late when they took a cheap shot at Quinn. But you can just kind of tell that the entire team was just frustrated, from the players to the staff, man. So it was just a wonderful display by Texas on Saturday.
I think Sark takes it super personal.
It wasn't as close as the score indicated. That was was a physical butt whipping. Again, we talked about Texas. Like, hey, everybody's selling Texas short on the physicality side of it. They showed up ready to roll, man. It's a physical team. It's a talented team. It's easily the best Texas team we've seen since 2005.
Yeah. Did you guys see the video that Pate posted of just Boosie blaring at halftime out of our locker room, and we were just mean mugging Michigan as they were coming out of their locker room?
I see that. And Boosie is very good workout music, so now I need to go check that out.
Yeah. And it was just, you could just see psychologically that we definitely had the edge there. Michigan players were like turning and running straight out. They weren't really interested. So that was a lot of fun. Concur, fans were outstanding. Steve, we'll hit recruiting just in a little bit, but I can tell you right now, I mean, it's over. I mean, we're probably going to flip upwards of 30 recruits. So I can just guarantee you that number one class in the nation. You heard it here first. All right, so let's talk a little bit about our personal kind of insights. I think Eric touched on it early. Texas crushes the red zone again. That's all I was concerned about last year. We were one of the worst teams. Here's some analytic nerd stuff. It's called points per X. It just means how good were you at closing in the red zone. And we were one of the worst in the nation. That's totally flipped. Third down, Quinn was dominating there. That's also huge. And that was a lot of third downs, probably more than you should like. But it doesn't – if you can convert them like that, then who cares, man? Add more third downs. So I thought that was really impressive. And I didn't feel – and, Coach, you can correct me on this. I didn't feel like Sark was going super hard schematically. It felt like we were just kind of executing a little bit. And, at Bama, I felt like the scheme was kind of scoring. But this game, it felt like we were just actually out-executing Michigan.
I feel the exact same way. It reminded me of the 49-0 game versus Oklahoma. He was just running his offense, right? It was just the stuff they installed. It was just working, right? Quinn was climbing the pocket, extending plays with his legs, man. Guys finding soft spot in the zone defense versus Michigan. I think it's just pure execution, man. It's how you draw it up. You talk about it on Mondays, what plays you want to run on install, and then all the periods that you go through practice. I feel like Texas just executed. It seemed like they were just not going through the motions, but it's like, man, it's really this easy? Like, they're just executing offense at a high clip, man. And, like, that's just the things that we talked about, on IT. It's like, this team is really good. When you can execute on your base plays, stuff, nothing too extreme, that means you're a really, really good team, man. So I loved it.
Like, I think the best example, right, is that quick out to Golden where Quinn just makes that NFL throw perfectly at the sideline. That's just being better.
Yeah.
And that was absolutely awesome to see. And then David Keith Williams, Texas week 2, Quinn. Yep, absolutely. My theory that Quinn is at maximum strength in week 2 continues. We'll have to see in the NFL as well going forward. But I believe that he's immortal during week 2. And he's just psychologically, man, we've got enough sample size here. In those big games, he absolutely shows up.
He's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think it's part and parcel with Sark being dialed in as well. Sark is on his note, and it goes hand in hand. Quinn is, when Quinn came back, you're like, okay, he's going to be the joystick for Sark now. And we're seeing that. That's why they are on easy street. It's when Sark is on, Sark is on. There's no stopping them. They were the best team in America the other day. That team that shows up there will beat Georgia in DKR. You can put a lot of money on it.
You heard it here first. Once again, that's going to be sick, man. If that's 1 versus 2 in the country, and we get it at home, man, that's good business. It's gonna be awesome. And then also with Quinn too, pocket command, man. That was a big question I had for Quinn. He could get a little shaken up, and that was not the case. I mean, he was climbing the pocket, eyes downfield, and then just absolute dimes on top of that. Working himself to the sidelines, knew exactly where his receivers would be on that crosser. Receivers timed up with him. I mean, that's what we've been waiting to see from Quinn. And that's that NFL, hey, okay, you can go first overall type command. And so that was awesome too. And the most important thing, underrated, Quinn threw away the ball exactly when you're supposed to throw away the ball.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I love that. He didn't force much. That was awesome.
Yeah, his growth since his first year at Texas is it's crazy to see how far he's come in a relatively short period of time. But we've seen it like every step of the way.
Yeah,
you can see. All right, he's better now. He's better now again. He just keeps improving, and so whatever NFL team is going to get him, he's going to keep making that sort of strides in the NFL too.
Yeah, and just too psychologically, man, from year 1 with the mullet, a shy kid. And then now he's just, even on the mic, has better command. I thought his pregame interview, I don't know if y'all saw it before the game, but they kind of asked about Arch. And he was like, at the end, he was like, yep, but I'm still here. Just like, he was very like, the confidence was nice to see. He's like, he's going to have a bright future as soon as I leave. I thought that was the best way to kind of explain it. So that was super cool. Did y'all see the Davis Warren interview?
Yeah, I saw that. What does he? I think he does do the concussion protocol.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what you're supposed to say. Just like, I mean, we're not good. But that was brutal. And that kid's got a good story, man. But that was rough out there. And it was, even Sharon Moore was kind of, just like, if we would have made the plays, Texas wouldn't have won. It's like, that's every loss ever. It was just it was just platitudes the whole time, instead of just saying like, we're in the middle of a rebuild.
Yeah, but there's a reason you weren't making those plays, Coach.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, duh. Yeah, if we would have won, we would have won. It's like, oh, well, yeah, good point. I want to shout out UT Parking, Eric's best bud. I want to shout out Trey Wisner. He had some nice runs, remains very physical for a slasher type back. Absolutely, man. I tweeted on Twitter at one point, it was Trey moved the chains Wisner out there. And that's just been the culture that Choice has been able to implement in that room, to have your big back go down, your number one back, and just like, okay, cool, who's up next? And they're performing.
Well, that was just an amazing evaluation by the staff on Wisner. We knew Trey at an early age, but I didn't know him like I should have known him. And that kid is just a pure baller, man. Tough, hard-nosed kid. The exact type of guy you want in your football program.
Yeah, and then he gets moved to slot at DeSoto, and they're like, don't care. We're running back. We're still going to do it. That's super cool. G. Helm outshined the supposed best tight end in America, Michigan tight end. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Loveland's the best tight end in America. I'll still say that. that guy's awesome. But after that fumble, I was like, yeesh, they got in their head a little bit. But
Gunner made the eval look super, super easy, because the guy is 6'5", 235, doing a backflip in high school, and then also just absolutely striping a golf ball right down the middle of the fairway. When you have that sort of athleticism and that sort of that coordination, I mean, it's I was like, all right, I'm underestimating this guy. He's damn good, man. He's a good ball player.
And that's a great program that he comes from, Colorado as well. And so it was good because you had Will Johnson, right, that Sark basically didn't go after. And then you had Hill, which Sark was vicious about going after. Number 20, like I was like, it's getting a little mean, Sark. And then Helm as your number 3 option. It was just good to see Helm finally get those opportunities behind Sanders. And then I've been standing on the desk for him that he's actually a downfield threat. And now we're seeing that. So that was awesome. Helm deserves it, man. Waiting patiently. It's tough, to wait your turn like that. And he's absolutely done it. Interesting too. Does anyone have any word on Nyblack? We haven't seen him much. Just doesn't have the blocking capacity. So it's hard to get him out there in the true tight end role. Do we have any kind of idea on Nyblack?
Yeah, it's just a blocking issue. To me, it's good news, because they're going to have when they lose Helm, that's going to create a pretty big void. And I think Nyblack, and then you got Jordan Washington, of course, and then Nick Townsend is to me a day one player. So I think they're in okay shape, but you'd much rather have Nyblack coming back. And I think that's the case. Hey, there's a rumor that UT Parking gave me some love on the Michael Taft call out. I got a screen cap from UT Parking saying, tell Nalleen that Michael Taft is good. Hey man, I see football players, and Michael Taft was the easy one to spot early on. It's a great story. I think he had a big Tom Rinaldi spot, but Texas made room for him. They were not going to take a safety as a walk-on, and they're like, this kid is just too damn good. We can't let him get away. Brought him in, made room for him, and it's talk about a Hollywood script.
Yeah, well, too, like if you were questioning his athleticism, you didn't see that pick versus Quinn.
Exactly.
I mean, that dude,
he elevated.
Yeah, he looked like a leopard. He just like jumped that straight up in the air. So it's like
I had a source that was at the time when he first got to campus, and I'm like, how good is Taft? And he's like, that kid's a real football player, like good. And this guy's been around a whole lot of football players. So when he told me that kid's just a baller, we're seeing his development too, though. He's getting better every game as well. It's crazy to think that guy, I'm telling you, is just 10 pounds away from the NFL.
Yeah. And he does off the field work, man. Making sure Arch was comfortable, rolling through the frats. Everybody felt good in their polos and their khaki shorts.
Right.
So he's doing work off the field as well for us.
Shout out to the Fijis.
Yeah. That's the guy that you're definitely you should appreciate, man, because you see that guy line up everybody in the secondary. He's communicating at a high level, getting everybody lined up. Like, he's the glue of the defense, if you ask me. Like, that's my MVP of the defense, man. I picked Taft, but I love that kid, just like I love Gunnar Helm, man. He's the glue. You need a Michael Taft on your team.
Yeah, you picked Taft as your player of the game before the game, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that was cool. All right, we're about to talk a little more Texas football, guys, but first, Andre the Lawyer.
This video is brought to you by Andre the Lawyer. If you're injured, trust the team that secured millions for their clients and helped thousands of Texans with their injury case. Car wrecks, slip and falls, 18-wheeler accidents, on-the-job injuries, and wrongful deaths. Don't let insurance tell you what your claim is worth. Hire Andre the Lawyer to fight for you. Principal office is in Dallas, but they serve Texans throughout the state. So don't wait and call Andre the Lawyer today at 214-444-8808. That's 214-444-8808. The contact information is in the description.
The wrongful deaths gets me every time, man.
I know, it's such a positive way to say that concept.
That kills me.
Yep. All right, cool. So one thing I did want to ask, kind of moving more defense, we hit Taft, but Colin Simmons, does that mean so he was up against? I'm not sure how much. I need to go back and watch the tape, but he was up against Evan Link a bit, which is the right tackle, which is I think a second-year right tackle. So athletically, he has the edge there. So I want to see him against a fifth-year guy, but he was causing issues, man. So like, what'd you see from Colin early on, Coach?
Man, just get off on the ball, man. It's so quick, right? He has the move over. He has a good shoulder dip, getting around the big guy, so he can't put his hands on him. And I was like, man, you can just kind of see the maturity kind of coming all together, right? He's been on campus, got there early. Now you can just kind of see his body getting right. He's much bigger now. He's not just trying to bull rush guys. Like, he feels confident in his pass rush. You can kind of tell, like, I got speed. I'm faster than this guy. Why am I trying to bull rush? Why am I trying to even let him touch me, right? And so kind of see that is really encouraging, because I think now he probably get more snaps going forward, because the coaches can trust him, like, hey, we need to get home. Colin Simmons is a guy we can put in the game, right? So I love to see that, getting his snaps in and getting some production out of it too.
Yeah, and he's our only sack of the season, right? Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
You know who he is? He's Will Anderson. And so that's when you're Will Anderson, that means you're a really good football player. And so it turns out that 5-star is that's actually a good ranking on him. Great kid too. As you know, we've had him on the channel. Yeah.
His interview with the charity he's working on. If that's going to be your first endeavor in NIL, he's got his mind right. What do we think about Trey Moore? Like I said, we're kind of lacking concrete sacks. I want to say we're like working on the Homer breakdown. We're not doing well there. We're like 90th in the nation in sacks per day.
They got a lot of pressure. That's what
I was going to say. So I was going to say, but still, I feel like you can see that we're affecting quarterbacks, moving them off their spot, making them uncomfortable. Of course, I would like concrete sacks on top of that. That would be nice. But it's not like year one where it was just like we could not get anything going. So seeing Trey Moore, I do want to, and Trey's about to play his old team here, right? Yeah. So that's going to be, hopefully there's some.
Did you see that clip of him planting the right tackle? Just put him on his backside. It was a thing of beauty. Yeah, he roughed.
That right tackle was Evan Link. He had a long day, man.
They're getting pressure. I'm not worried about the sacks will come. When they start playing these guys, obviously Michigan wants to run the ball. That's when you run the ball like that, it's going to buy the quarterback a little bit of time when you do play action and all that. But I'm not worried about it. Texas is getting pressure on them, and the sacks will follow.
Yeah, he's going to get 10 sacks. Easy. He's a bodyguard. 10 sacks, easy.
I watched that game.
And then I heard, this comment actually goes when we're talking Makuba shut out. We have 5 to 6 guys back there now who can do that on any given Saturday. Yeah, so I have my notes here. Secondary making plays with depth. So your second stringers are coming in and getting picks. And you really can't athletically, size-wise, tell the difference when the second string comes in. So the secondary, too, they worked on that hard this offseason. We bullied them enough, and the coaches aren't playing around. We got some – and this is the first time, too, I feel like across the board. We got athletes. I'm not worried about us just getting burnt all the time. That I think that's a huge difference. And Makuba, man, balling out on Saturday.
Remember what I said, that Texas's second team would be ranked in the top 25. I had some OU fans and their feelings on that one, but just look at the guys making plays. Yeah.
OU's first team is not in the top 25.
If Derek Williams is Derek Williams' second team, I don't even know. Makuba's second team. It's one of those guys that they've got NFL players on their second team. It's a sick, deep team. And it's, it'll become more evident as we get, deeper into the season, and, other schools are going to have issues with injuries, and Texas is going to be able to overcome that just because of the depth.
Yeah. And they're able to break out the Tex caliber often. I hate that thing. That thing makes me so nervous that they're going to cut their hand somehow. I know it's not actually sharp, but if you watch them, sometimes they're standing over it, putting a ton of pressure on that ball.
Yeah,
and if something weird goes on, they're getting stabbed in the chest, you know?
You're not the only one getting nervous on that one, trust me.
Yeah, I do not like that Tex caliber. And that's from Arizona, right? I think they did it.
Yeah.
It was funny. Game one, Bill Norton was like having to teach them how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But that thing sketches me out. All right, cool. Any other kind of big, and also fans in the chat too, any big Michigan pieces here? Let me look through some of this. You guys are commenting a lot. Diverse looks. All right, let's take this hypothetical. Would you rather have a highly ranked defense with diverse looks and making great turnovers plays, holding teams to 6 points a game, than having multiple sacks with a more predictable defense?
I'll take the defense we saw on Saturday.
Yeah.
Fans were worried about Colorado State ran the ball on them on Texas a little bit. That was by design. That's what the defense let them have that.
Yeah.
When it's Michigan's strength, Texas took it away. Texas took Colorado State's strength away. So you're seeing a team that can win in multiple ways on defense. I mean, with different types of fronts, different cover. I mean, there's a lot going on that defense, and it's all good.
Yeah, I think he's commented on my wanting more sacks. So he kind of gave me the impossible hypothetical where I'm supposed to be like, no, I want a bad defense and sacks. I want a good defense and sacks. We can have both in this world. But that's going to be interesting to watch. Interceptions as a result of the pressure. Gaddis, I'd have to rewatch and really pay attention to those. I think a lot of that is also kind of Davis Warren is limited on some of that stuff. As long as they continue to do that, it'll create disturbances for quarterbacks, which will continue to lead to productivity and effectiveness for the Texas DBs. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Let me get this one real quick. Heck no. I mean, it's you're always going to worry about that when you win. Success kind of begets. Everybody's going to. It's an attention getter when you win. Schools are going to come after your guys, just like when they win, the NFL comes calling for their players too. I'm not really worried about that. Jeff Banks would be a guy that I think he's upwardly mobile. I think Jeff Banks would be a really good head football coach for some, smaller school. I could say obviously he'd be a sensational recruiter. He's a motivator. So I could see Jeff Banks definitely getting a head coach job. But I'm always worried about if the Dallas Cowboys come calling for Tashard Choice, would that be a concern? Maybe so. I know he's happy living in Austin. But for the most part, I don't think so. The beauty of Kyle Flood, he's already been there, done that. He's been a head coach. I think he's quite happy at Texas. BC came calling. They were kicking the tires on him a little bit, but it didn't sound like he was super interested. And then PK, he's a lifer. PK is a DC lifer.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody comes calling for Johnny Nansen, but man, he's got his best friend on the headsets on the other side of the ball. So I'm not too worried about it, but Jeff Banks would be one to watch though for sure.
Yeah, and that's proof of concept. I mean, you want Choate to go get the Nevada. I mean, that's if we're trying to do the Saban model. Now, I do think 15 years of the Saban model, you start to actually run out of guys because he did towards the end. So, but of course, man, we want our guys to get promoted. We don't want them to beat us, but I think that's a proof of concept too. Let's see this. Sark ran running back mesh through traffic in the red zone and ran guard H-back counter, bluff reverse, wingo big play, which tells me he's current with what's working in today's game. We are blessed to have Coach Sark.
Wingo's kicking himself the next day on that. Oh man, he was so close. That guy is just he's a rare talent, man.
Yeah, I retweeted too, and I was watching Texas State versus UTSA to prep for UTSA, and Mac Leftwich, who I went to high school with, their OC, they took that running back screen throwback where Quinn fake rolls around, turns around and throws it to the running back. And I retweeted too that one of the coaches I follow, you're seeing that through college football. So you're also seeing people adapting Sark's plays and plays that he created on his offense, which is pretty cool as well. And yeah, all of this is a moot point because they did let us win. So that's a solid point. And we really appreciate Michigan for allowing us to win. That was really cool of them, really humble guys over there at Michigan. All right. We're good talking Michigan. Unless you guys in the chat add stuff, we'll always hit that. Let's us move on to topic number 2 real quick. What do you guys think about Texas moving up AP poll number 2? I think the reasonable point of view is, Georgia beat Clemson, good win. Texas beat Michigan, good win. Ohio State hasn't played anyone yet, good team, but doesn't have the concrete kind of resume. So the cool part is if everyone stays on course, this sets up for basically a national championship game in Austin on F1 weekend. Number 1 versus number 2 Georgia, which is going to be absolutely sick. So how you guys feeling about? And this was what Texas hasn't been ranked 2 since we went to the national championship.
Yeah, right. Since 09. Yeah. October 4th, 09 was the last time I think they were number 2. I don't think Texas fans really have any idea what's coming their way. You're gonna have a Heisman run for Quinn. You've got Texas playing Georgia, and then you've got a run of Arch Manning for 2 years. Probably 2 years. Texas, like I called it, in the offseason, they're in a 3-year championship window with Quinn and 2 years of Arch. These are the good times, buddies. These are the good times. You want to soak all of this in and enjoy it. But yeah, I think I agree with Georgia being number 1. That's fine. That'll be settled on the field. The way that team I saw on Saturday is winning that game, though.
I agree. And then Georgia's schedule is absolutely nuts.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they got a brutal schedule.
Yeah. So they got to play. They got to play Bama, then us, then Ole Miss, and then number 7 Tennessee.
Where's A&M?
Oh yeah, darn.
Yeah. So OU at 15. Talk about a brutal finish. They've got a super brutal finish. I don't think they'll end up in the top 25. Maybe in the very back end.
No, that offense is absolutely horrific. I was not expecting that, but yikes, that offense looked absolutely awful game 1 and game 2.
So it looks like, to me, there's 3 teams that are have a likelihood of winning it: Texas, Georgia, and Ohio State. To me, those are the class of the country. Haven't really watched Alabama. Obviously, I think Milroe's, clearly a dynamic player, but I don't think they have the overall depth of talent that they've had in the past. Some of those guys are at Texas now.
That final score, Alabama, was not how it was looking. No. I mean, they turned it on in the last 5 minutes and put up 41. They were winning by 5 in the 4th. But also shows you a good team that can turn it on that fast. And what Ryan Williams, that kid is special.
Oh man,
definitely.
That kid's awesome. But Bama's good, but we'll have to see. Ole Miss is going to be interesting. But Texas also, I mean, we get off pretty light here, fellas, schedule wise, which is also nice. Basically, if we get through Georgia, we don't have any ranked opponents left. I mean, OU, but I consider that a false ranking currently.
Kentucky lost, right?
Yeah, Kentucky lost to South Carolina, and it was not close. It was really ugly.
Yeah. It's not the hardest schedule we've ever seen. They should be able to get through this one. I mean, it's hard to even fathom this, but yeah, they could be going undefeated this season. A&M in College Station is going to be tough. That'll be a grind. That stadium will be bonkers.
Arkansas stadium's going to be bonkers, and that offense is pretty fun. They totally screwed it up versus Oklahoma State, but they got that basically dual running backs running that offense, which is pretty interesting. But as far as rankings, man, Georgia's got a hell of a road to. If Georgia wins out, man, they're the best team by a mile. Also, the tricky part,
they're not winning out.
Yeah. But it's all because Texas has got them. But also, do you worry about the having to beat them twice type thing?
Maybe 3 times.
That's true. That's a good point.
Would that be wild?
Yeah, that would. And they still would be like, well, clearly Georgia's overrated in Texas. You got it lucky when it's we beat Georgia 3 times.
Yeah, that's a heavy lift. But yeah, they just got to keep building off what they're at. I mean, I think when Texas has confidence, it gets scary because it just kind of it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. These guys are good, and they're going to get more confidence, and then because they have more confidence, then they're going to be good, and it just keeps on going. Texas is probably the most dangerous team in the country. I think that's pretty obvious.
Yeah, I agree. And then we also have old Quinn at plus 500 odds to win the Heisman now. Week 2, but when we're just thinking the PR of the Heisman, that's a great opportunity. You get to play Michigan, 11 a.m., big noon kickoff. Everybody gets to watch that kind of stuff. To the media members that don't watch the games like they should, those little kind of windows and stuff like that sticks in their brain. Like they won't watch the UTSA. Quinn could throw 9 picks versus UTSA, and it wouldn't matter to the voter, the Heisman voter, because they saw him do good versus Michigan. And so those kind of things are important too. So being number 1 in the country there is also going to be super cool.
And that'll probably be his most pedestrian stat line for a long time.
Yeah.
And it was a great stat line. You know, I predicted that it was going to look very similar to his Colorado State stat line, and he was right on target. Yeah, that guy, man, he's just really coming into his own. You know, I'll tell you, it was really cool. We were hanging out tailgating not far from big noon kickoff, and Curtis Ewers rolled up. So what's up, Eric? He was just happy, man. That guy's, you know, he's living the dream. That guy was a huge UT fan. Imagine getting to see your son play for the school that you love. That's got to be a good feeling, and he's definitely soaking it all in. It was definitely good. If Curtis was watching this, good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, that's got to be super cool. You get to watch your kid ball out at Bama, and then you get to watch him ball out at Michigan. I'm telling you guys, week 2 Quinn, unstoppable. All right, guys, so we're going to get into some recruiting next up too, and then answer kind of your chats. But first, a word from our sponsor.
This video is brought to you by Lux Kitchen and Bath. Lux has been offering high-end kitchen and bathroom remodels for 3 generations throughout the greater Austin area. With 5-star review after 5-star review on Google and Facebook, and an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau, you can put your faith in Lux Kitchen and Bath's award-winning designers and skilled craftspeople to bring to life that dream vision of your special home. But that's not all. Lux's all-star team provides full remodels, large additions, and even commercial build-outs as well. So call Lux Kitchen and Bath at 833-358-LUX today. Or visit luxkitchenbath.com to discover where quality meets luxury and begin the process of transforming your home. Get a free quote today by calling 833-358-LUX. That's LUXE. Or by visiting luxkitchenbath.com. Link in the description.
You can go to luxkitchenbath.com, see all the pictures of their remodeling as well. Stuff looks awesome. All right, let's get into a little bit of recruiting. Winning against Michigan, also Florida State's 0-2 beginning has also been really tricky, but we were able to land Myron Charles from Florida State. That was a cool flip. Of course, we need defensive tackles. Inside Texas has been hinting at this pretty much since he committed to Florida State. And so that was a cool flip. Out of you guys, what's the eval there?
Giant explosive guy. Exactly what Texas is needing in the class. I think he's, you know, I don't want to be too hyperbolic, but I think he might have as much upside as anybody in the class. You know, Lance Jackson's right there. Jonah Williams is right there. Nick Townsend to me is right there. But he's just right in that class of player where he's just a total stud. And yeah, it was funny when, you know, when Sharma committed to Oregon on June 28th. And Charles committed to Florida State on June 28th, and I'm like, hey, you know, let's see how this all plays out. Yeah. And I felt bad, like I knew something Florida State didn't know, but you know exactly what they needed. All of a sudden, Kenny Baker's doing okay. You know, he's probably got another couple flips in him. You know that they're going to take 4 defensive tackles. It's all going to work out. Like I've been telling people, just stay calm. You know, let the pros handle it. It's going to work out. It's going to be a really good defensive tackle class.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I like Charles a lot, man. I think he's a versatile, big, strong guy, man, that probably can play multiple spots up front, man. Like, give Kenny Baker time. I think a lot of people have asked for that here. Like, give him time, right? Now it's all working out. Results on the field matter, right? And so you got guys who've built a strong relationship with kids, and now you're winning. Everything I've been telling you in recruiting is coming to fruition, right? We're winning, right? And then you kind of see on the flip side, the other people are losing. So it's like, hey, this is the place to be. So I think you'll see some more flips, man. This is awesome. It's a great time to be a Texas fan. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Still watching Malcolm Simpson committed to Nebraska. We'll see what happens there. Somebody mentioned Kelshawn Johnson here, talking about A&M.
I wanted to answer old Steve, and then we'll hit individual guys. So over under on 2.5 flips left. We of course want the edge that decommitted from Florida State.
Yep. Hilston, Javian Hilston. Yeah, that's going to play out into December. I don't know would he count that as the flip. I don't know. Yeah, Texas is right there. I think Texas might be the team to beat. I'm not going to put a prediction in yet, but if I had to put in a prediction, I'd probably do Texas for him. Yeah, they're going to flip another D tackle. At least one more D tackle they'll flip, so that gets you to 2 if we're counting Hilson. And then I think there's going to be a November surprise potential shocker that I'm watching in November, maybe on National Signing Day. Who knows? But I would go over that for sure.
Just got fonged to Texas.
Oh, did he? Okay, yeah. So Steve's on it. Yeah. I don't have a problem with that. I thought about doing the same thing last night, but then my source says it's just going to take a while to play out, and I don't know that kid like I know a lot of these Texas kids, so I don't have a good read on him. But I do have I mentioned the other day I was like that kid's not going to stick with Florida State. So if I'm hearing that, that tells you that that it's probably good news down the road.
Cool. Any word on Michael Terry after being at the Nebraska game?
No, I don't have anything new on that. I would be shocked if he didn't end up at Texas. But obviously, he likes Nebraska. He's got good relationships there. So you don't want to rule out the Huskers. But yeah, I mean, just based on everything I've heard, I would be surprised if it didn't end up at Texas. He doesn't want to go to Texas. He's from San Antonio. He grew up. He grew up a UT fan.
Right.
If you don't commit to Texas under these circumstances, what do you
What more do you need? Yeah.
So I think, and I love the makeup of the class where they got 2 wide receivers, and he can be a third wide receiver or a third tight end even, just as a flex guy in the slot. There's a good sales pitch going on right now for Texas with the way they're throwing the ball around.
Yeah, and that's perfectly until David Keith Williams, always with the insightful questions. As happy as I am with Khalid Lockett and Jamie French in the Longhorns 2025 wide receiver class, the Longhorns do need a burner at wide receiver also. I would really like to see Texas get Kelshawn Johnson from Texas A&M.
Yeah, he might get his wish here. I would not rule it out. We thought Texas might stick with 2. They got 2 5-stars. But Sark loves his fast toys, and Kelshawn is fast. He got a great fit in the offense, and he's got to be watching that A&M offense and wondering, I don't know if you do a side-by-side comparison between Texas and A&M's offense. It's kind of self-evident, right?
Yeah.
I would not rule out Kelshawn Johnson ending up in the Texas class. I wouldn't rule it out. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I've seen stranger things for sure.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. And I saw someone also gloating about Micah Hudson struggling or the tech going on there. So you guys can keep doing victory laps on there.
Bad decision making, man. I mean, good Lord, it's punch your ticket. Be smart like Ryan Wingo. Just punch your ticket.
Yeah, but also, sometimes the relationships. It's all about the relationships, and it's just like, all right, man, this is still a business. I understand you like these guys. You're trying to make millions of dollars in the NFL.
Yeah. Once the Mannings signed off on Sark, everybody should have just flooded in, dude. Be smart like the Mannings. It's just remove the thinking thought process from it. It makes sense,
Yeah. Coach has got to run, guys. Coach, we appreciate you, man. You have a good one. He's got to go take care of one of his girls. So appreciate you, Coach. Get him off of there. All right. I like going after Kelshawn still. Is he playing in state? Is he?
Yeah, I mean, I think Texas could end up, flipping him. It would not shock me. Not saying it's going to happen. Yeah, obviously A&M's got really good ties down in that part of Texas. But I'm not ruling it out. I'm paying more attention to that recruitment than I probably was, a couple weeks ago.
Cool. Eric, DT is my focus position in football. It's a good focus position to have. I'm over the moon right now with UT getting Josiah Sharma and Myron Charles, as am I. What is your view regarding the evolution of Sadir Mitchell and Jared Bledsoe? Yeah,
they just both have to be more consistent every single day. They got to go in and with the mindset that a lot of these older guys like Jahdae Barron have a Jahdae Barron mindset. Talk about punching your ticket. If Sadir Mitchell is hardwired like Jahdae Barron, that guy's going to make a lot of money in the NFL. It's just about becoming more consistent. I think Sadir made some strides in fall camp. I think he's on a pretty decent trajectory. And then Jure, it's just it's just more consistency every day.
There's so much upside there, man. He's so athletic. If he can just put it together, dude.
He is a freak. You can watch him warming up, and he looks like the most athletic guy on the team. He's just got to put it all together. I guess it's probably a year away, but the fact that he's still in the program to me is a huge win. It could have gone a couple different ways for him. So I think he's matured quite a bit just to stick in the program. The kid did not have it easy growing up, and I think Sark has shown that he'll play the long game on these guys. Juan Davis. When Juan Davis stayed in the program, I'm like, Sark's clearly got a plan for this guy, right? I mean, he's got a plan for him. There's a plan for Jure. He just has to get more consistent. But also, they're losing 5 defensive tackles after this season. So these guys they're gonna be forced to grow up. So I'm pretty optimistic on them. But we'll see. I mean, it's 2025 is a long way from now. But I think Sadir and Jure are going to be instrumental next season. But they got a lot of guys ahead of them right now.
Well, and Sadir already has the size, right? He might even have too much size. But is Bledsoe? Does he still need to pack it on, or he's kind of in that weird DT end range? But is he physically kind of?
He's a very physical player. Jure is. He's physical. He's tough. So he punches above his weight. So if he's 290, he plays bigger than 290. It's size is not an issue for Jure.
Okay, cool. UT Parking. Y'all won me over by being accurate and officially have my endorsement. Thank you. We are running for president. We really appreciate that. Inside Texas is the best Texas football news network. Thank y'all. Thank you, UT Parking.
Thanks a lot.
We appreciate it. And then let's see. We should see Sadir and Jure plenty next couple games. Hope they splash. I hope. I mean, I don't know where they're at. 3rd string right now?
Yeah. I mean, who knows? It's a revolving door at 3rd string. You've got Norton and Lole behind Alfred and Vernon. I think Sadir's 3rd team. I saw Sadir playing in the opener.
He's huge.
He's got a big old caboose.
Yeah.
I think they're third or so. But like I say, 2024 is about 2025 for them. It's all about getting reps and making them better, making those incremental improvements over time. And if they stick to the script, they've got a bright future.
Absolutely. And this brings joy to Eric as well. Vernon Broughton is another example of someone who developed into a man this year.
Hey, getting married will do that to you.
Yeah. Even though we were very mad at him at the spring game, he's like, I'll make it up to you guys. I swear. I know he didn't choose that. That's one of those situations where you're just like, I'm going to have to choose marrying my wife over the spring game. Tough spot to be in.
I always have a soft spot for Vernon. Really, really loved talking to his mom throughout that recruiting process. That was a bit of a wild ride. Vernon's just really athletic, man. He's got great ball get off. I think he's going to get drafted 4th, 5th round.
Yeah, and that basketball background, man, just really good feet. And like I said, he's added a lot of that lower body strength, which is what we needed to see. He's looking less like a basketball center.
Yeah, he's a good. He's turned into a good player. Always had tremendous upside. Really excited to see what the rest of the season looks like for him.
Yeah, a little bit back to the old game here. O-line and Jake Majors for the win. Yeah, I mean, we had, of course, Cam's nervousness, which always cracks me up when someone that big is nervous. It's like, you're good, dude. No matter what's going on in this world, you're good.
Like the Green Mile, like John Coffey.
Yeah. You can be that big. It's like they're still 20, they're still 21, know. And so it's just funny when you see someone that big. But other than that, I thought we looked good. I mean, physically out physical. That's a good Michigan D line. They had no sacks. I mean, you wouldn't know that all 4 of those guys are going to the NFL.
I was downplaying those guys coming into the game. Sark just, they get the most out of their guys in these big games. To go back to Alabama 2 years ago, everybody thought that the O-line was going to get wrecked, and they drew to a stalemate. It's a good unit. And we haven't even seen the best of them yet. We haven't even really seen the running game get going like we will see later in the year.
Yeah. The running game is where we're weakest statistically right now. But they took Anderson year 2. They took Anderson out, and I was like, okay, we got something here. Then they took Turner and Braswell out last year. It's impressive. And then this one, we took their D-line and their best corner out of it. So it's really impressive what Sark can do. I need to quit doubting him in that regard. He's going to be able, especially you give him an off season, man. That guy's a savant when it comes to.
He's a problem solver.
Yeah, he totally cancels them out. I thought, yeah, if we can get the running game going. So here's the thing, statistically, we're still not very good on standard downs, first and second down. That's why we're ending up in third down. For any fan, if you're having third down issues, it's always a first down issue. It just compounds. And so that's going to be interesting. If we can get consistent push, we're not super good in offensive line yards, which is getting early push. That's what we need to see. I'm sure it'll come on. We have injuries at the position. The team's going to gel more, but who's going to be Georgia's going to be our scariest run defense.
Yeah.
Going forward.
Yep.
But just being able to run in the red zone, Jarrett Gibson, let's talk about him a little bit, man.
Hey, he's a good player. He's a high floor player. High floor, the Frank Gore comp to me is perfect.
Yeah.
He's got that niftiness. He's got good feet in the hole, and he's got a lot of power. He's a good player. That was a good get, and it's they're going to need him a lot. As the season wears on, he's going to get a lot of carries.
Yeah, he runs with a lot of forward momentum. He's almost kind of falling forward, but if you try to hit him, he's going to end up putting his right in your chest.
Yep.
Now for UTSA, right? This is not the UTSA we're used to. I've scouted them. Texas State, beat the hell out of them. It was to where GJ Kinney, who's a former player of Coach Traylor, I was like, you need to not put up 50 on them, and it was tricky. So their defense is struggling. Their offense is really struggling. They benched their quarterback and had to go with another guy in the second half who performed worse. So it's not going to be exactly kind of the same thing going forward, but I am interested. There's a couple things that they do well statistically, but this is not like I say in the beginning of the breakdown, this is not a trap game. 2 years ago it was. Texas should win markedly. I think we're up favored 33 points. I do want to see, though, Sark has been a little coy in the second half. It's like, why do I need to show scheme? We have Georgia coming up and stuff like that. So I want to see if we can just continue to do it. I do want to see us win the second halves, that kind of stuff, just because in the past 3 years we've struggled a little bit with closing. But also, I don't think Sark cares when he's up 30. He doesn't. He's like, why am I going to show you guys plays? So have you looked at UTSA yet? I know you've been busy with life stuff.
No, haven't looked at them yet. We'll watch them in the next day or so. They lost Frank Harris. Finally, he was there for like 10 years. It seemed like
it shows.
It's not a trap game. There's the potential for them to come out a little flat after this road trip. We see that in sports all the time. But it's going to be they're just going to be another bump on the road. This month actually sets up really, really well. Mississippi State's not all that great. They got
ULM,
Louisiana Monroe. They're terrible. So they're looking at going into to October in really good shape. And then they have a bye, right? So the first weekend of October they have a bye, and then it's OU. So they should be going into OU hitting all cylinders. And healthy, they're going to be able to play a lot of guys in the next couple of weeks. Get a lot of these younger players even more experience.
Yeah, we're going to be able to get into the depth. And then, so UTSA game is going to be a highlight reel. Rest Blue as much as you can, though. Yeah, I did. Yeah, Blue was not looking good in the first half. He went to during halftime. They gave him the magical elixir, I guess, because he was running just fine after that. But he was looking a little bit weird on that ankle. Rest Blue for sure. It was frustrating seeing him in the game when he was clearly hobbled and tripping all over the place. Yep, but kid's got heart too. But absolutely rest him. I don't think we have an injury report. Oh, yeah, no, that doesn't start yet. So we're going to have those injury reports starting during conference play.
Oh, is it? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
SEC sent us an email announcing it. So you're going to have to announce your injuries now going into SEC play. Now our coach is going to game it and call everyone questionable, probably.
yeah, Sark's going to be coy on that.
Yeah.
That's
But at least you don't have to dodge the injury questions all week. People are like, is this guy hurt? Is this guy hurt? At least they have to come out and say it, That's going to be important. All right, guys. Checking, making sure we got all the comments, everything starred. Cool. All right. We'll end on this. Let's not have a Notre Dame moment the next few weeks. I absolutely agree. So yeah, it's going to be a chill month, hopefully, and we didn't just jinx it there, because that's we're feeling a little confident. But yeah, we want to make sure that we're still doing our part. Fans, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to be back on tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. with the one and only Paul Wadlington. Me and him go more in depth on breaking down the next week's opponent. So you guys will hear a lot about UTSA and what we thought of the Michigan game. But Eric, thanks for hanging out.
Oh yeah.
And fans, thanks for watching.